Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janet, can we have roll call, please?
Mrs. Boyce? Here. Mr. Boa?
Here.
Mrs. Burns?
Here.
Mrs. Delaney?
Here.
Mrs. Bragg?
Here.
Ms. Mungo?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
I'm here.
Dr. Singh?
Here.
Mrs. Warning?
Here. Do we have any comments from residents on agenda items? Okay. Do we have any board member discussion items?
Just that we met prior.
No. Oh, the executive. Yeah, we had executive session from 5:30 to 6:03.
Concerning personnel matters.
Thanks.
Sure.
I do have one discussion item. There were a couple of people on the school board that received letters at home that were postmarked from Pittsburgh, not signed, and delivered to their home. This school board, along with this administration, has a mailing address here at the building. And, you know, there are several concerning matters when you send district information to our homes. One of the things is, you know, you give up the HIPAA and FERPA policies because we're opening up our mail at home, so you have no idea who's in our home. And if they are personnel or have students' names on them, that poses a problem. In addition to that, again, like I said, we have phones here, we have voicemails here that they get to us. We get mail delivered here and are able to read what is sent in for this. There was no identifying marks on this letter. It was signed anonymously, and again, it was from Pittsburgh. So we actually don't know where it came from, so we are unable to look into this. Anybody else have any comments? Discussions? Okay. Financial reports?
Financial reports. Mr. Zarellis.
Item 4.1, financial reports, list of bills for February 2025.
I have a question about one of the items I saw on the financial report.
Sure.
For Spectrum, I saw them listed twice.
We probably paid them 2 different times. I mean, no, it's not, we run checks periodically, but we hold them till we mail them out.
Okay,
So it might be from prior month, maybe across to the mail, the check's printed, then they send another invoice, we print another check.
understood. Okay.
And action item on number 5?
Item number 5 is an action item tonight, 5.1 supplementals for the spring. We have several supplementals as listed.
So moved.
Second.
I just have one question. Is Trish still here? No? No. Do we know if all the supplementals were filled, or is there still
Yeah.
couple outstanding ones? But, okay. Thank you.
Maybe could Don Hall answer that one? Because there are a lot, most of them are sports.
Dawn, are you on? Dawn. He just has to unmute himself.
Yes, I'm here.
Could you answer if all the supplemental for the sports have been filled?
Pretty much all the paid supplementals. We do have some volunteers for next week. And we do have one assistant boys tennis coach that we just identified as well.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
So there's going to be an additional, because I do see tennis for boys coach Matt There's going to be an additional?
Right.
Okay,
There's an assistant assigned to that program as well.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any other questions? Janet, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Bibba?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter, you have a brother listed, I believe, on here as
Yeah.
the varsity.
So you're abstaining on that, right?
Are you abstaining for your brother?
I traditionally do abstain. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, I abstain on that piece.
Okay.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce?
Aye. Personnel?
All right, item 6, personnel. 6.1, we have several individuals listed for employment. 6.2, 3 individuals for resignations. 6.3, we have 2 individuals listed as event workers. And 6.4, several leaves. And 6.5, several volunteers as listed.
Does anybody have any questions on 6 for Dr. Cheeky?
I don't have a question, but I did know in the weekly stuff. So just remember, as a reminder to parents, if you want to volunteer for end of the year field trips or end of the year class stuff, please make sure you get your applications in because we can only approve them on the board meeting schedule. So if it's too late, every year we have this rush at the end of the year and somebody gets in a panic because they can't chaperone. So make sure you fill that out. I think all the board principal or the school principals seem to be really good about reminding their parents, but another way to remind them.
Yes.
fill out their paperwork.
Thank you, Donna. Administrative resolutions?
Item 7.1, approve policies as listed. We have 2 policies listed there. Item 7.2, approve the new cyber course proposal for Gateway High School. 7.3, approve the comprehensive planning phase 2 schools K-12 guidance plan. 7.4, approve the addendum to agreement for college and high school dual credit agreement between Seton Hill University and Gateway School District. Item 7.5, 2 conferences as listed. Item 7.6, approve the agreement between the Meadows Psychiatric Center and the Gateway School District for years 25-26, 26-27, and 27-28. And item 7.7, approve the affiliation agreement between Carlow University and Gateway School District for student teaching.
I have a question on the graduation requirements. What has changed?
The only thing that has changed, the number of credits, the 25 credits that you need for graduation has not changed. We shuffled a bit as far as the new financial literacy course. There's a 0.5 course that's a requirement now. That's going to go in order to stay at the 25 credits, we're going to take a 0.5 elective choice away that students have to take.
Okay.
So they still have a lot of options as far as electives go, but one of them will have to be that 0.5 financial literacy course.
And that was a requirement from the state that has to be enacted for next school year.
Yes.
So you're going to take something that was originally a 1 credit elective and reduce that to 0.5 to make up the difference with, do you have a clue what you're going to?
No, it's like if I'm a student that's scheduling and I have the option to take a 0.5 course,
Right.
I used to have to take 5.5 electives, but now I only have to take a total of 5. And that other 0.5 is going to be financial literacy.
Right, okay.
What happened with our civics? Is it no longer a requirement for graduation?
Well, we don't have a standalone civics course, but that's embedded in the curriculum with the global connections.
Okay.
Was that ever a requirement? I remember civics in middle school.
It used to be 9th grade, and then 10th grade was law connections, and then 11th grade was U.S. history, and that was all you needed were the 3. Now, how has that changed?
Well, since I've been here, we haven't had a standalone civics course. We've had the Global Connections 1 and the Global Connections 2 that were written with that in mind, to where it's not just focusing on civics the entire year, but it's embedded throughout each course.
It used to be that civics was in ninth grade, you're right. And the first half of the year was the federal government, and the second half of the year was the state government. And that incorporated the whole year. I think when I listen to kids talk today, they don't know squat about how their government functions. Is there any chance that we can revisit this somehow? You're saying global connections. Global sounds like something bigger
It is.
than, yeah, it is, than specifically the way it used to be. Is there any, I mean, the state, are we just following the state guidelines again, and is that what we're doing?
It's not-
Where does eighth grade, do they do, I guess I was from a different city. We had to pass a test in the eighth grade, and we had a civics course. Now, I don't know here.
Yeah, there are a lot of different districts that have civics in ninth grade. I remember in Pittsburgh Public, that's what we did in ninth grade, and it went from civics to American government to world history as you proceed through all the course content. But here, it's been embedded for years as far as that global connections.
So this isn't a state standard thing?
No, it's not a requirement of the state to have civics, like for in ninth grade.
So you could technically make it an elective? I mean, that's always an option.
There are some electives
That fit in that category?
though. Yes.
But this is what, I think what we were talking about, it being a requirement
Yeah,
and not
right,
as an elective.
right. It used to be a requirement. It was a graduation requirement for the longest time.
Yeah, I guess it's not
Yeah.
then.
I have a question about the new cyber course proposal for Gateway High School. With the new cyber course, are we hoping that it will draw some of the kids that are going to other cyber schools back to Gateway Cyber? Like-
No, it's cybersecurity. It was a type of, it was like a computer class.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cybersecurity
that's probably not a
course. I mean, we're always hoping to bring students back to our cyber. You know, I think we have a pretty good cyber program,
Yeah.
but this isn't an entire program. This is just a cybersecurity course.
Maybe if other cyber schools don't have that, some kids might be interested.
Yeah, that should,
We advertise it.
And this is new for us, right?
It's a big thing.
Yeah, this is,
yeah.
It's a big thing.
Will they get a certification or something after they complete this? They're just taking the class. There's nothing like you would do like at a technical.
No, nothing like they're going to receive a certification yet. I mean, this is just the first step
This is an
towards
intro
having a
to-
course.
An intro to.
I'm wondering how that differs from Forbes. Don't they have?
Forbes is a complete,
Yeah, they have the
They,
whole program.
they get a
that you get.
certification.
be exposed to whatever's current in terms of cybersecurity, and that's growing rapidly.
Yeah, they probably have a lot of kids that participate.
Are they able to take this in ninth grade, or is this cyber security
Yeah,
course?
9 through 12.
Oh, it's
It'll
9 through
be a
12.
course offering.
So that might even open up more.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
To further that, if they take it in ninth, then,
Yeah, they may have some interest.
yeah, might be a gateway there.
I have a question, speaking about Forbes and talking about cyber, since that's a more technically based thing. I don't know if this is something to pass along to the guidance department, but I was listening to this, and this is huge. Does anybody know who Mike Rowe is? Do you know who Mike Rowe is? You know, Dirty Jobs. Mike Rowe's foundation just increased his scholarship opportunities for kids who want to go into tech substantially. And he was on TV making that known across the country. There have been kids in Pennsylvania who have received things. One young man received a scholarship to go to diesel and mechanics to learn how to do that. Another young man, amazingly enough, we just had the 500, you know, just recently, the race. He was going to learn to do mechanics for race cars, and he got a scholarship. So I'm just wondering, is this something we can bring to the attention of our guidance department, that this opportunity has expanded dramatically? He's added millions of dollars in scholarships. How do we get that information to guidance? Because you apply, It is a national thing, but whatever. But he's expanded and he just wants everybody to know. He's trying to get kids to go. There's like thousands of technical jobs out there that need to be filled, and he wants to promote that. He consistently promotes that with his programs. So is there some way to just let guidance know?
Yeah, we could definitely let them know.
Should I
Mr.
send you just his name?
Yeah, just send me the information. Mr. Stevens meets regularly with counselors, and we can pass that information along.
Because I know they were talking about Penn State waived the fees to go to Penn State for the kids. I saw that in our minutes. But I thought about this too, because we don't always talk about the scholarship opportunities for a technical field. So I will send that to you, and if you could pass it along.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Since they've added additional millions to that.
And this affiliation agreement with Carlo, is that math? That they're dropping in, is that one?
No, that's the CMU.
Oh, that's the
With the
CMU.
math
Okay,
drop in.
okay.
Yeah, this is for student teachers.
First, oh, okay, oh, that's right, I screwed this up. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe you just mentioned, on 7.4, something you just mentioned, what exactly does this refer to? I don't remember.
With the college and high school? This is
Talked about it.
This is an opportunity for our students to gain some college credit through Seton
Has this
Hill.
already started?
This is going to be approved and started. This is for next year.
Okay.
So are they physically going to take a class here? Because they used to have PIT credits,
Right.
where you would take the class here, take the PIT
Yes.
test.
Yeah, this is just an addendum to the agreement.
Oh, this is just an addendum.
Yeah.
We're always, and that's how they do it, just with PIT. It's PIT had, you take the class here, you do the PIT test, you pass, you get the PIT credits.
Yes.
Okay, same difference, okay.
Colleges do we work with?
Do you know
We
what
have a bunch. I don't have the exact number, but I'd say 15 or 16.
Okay, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Students have a good opportunity to really.
And students are getting that college credit in the high school from those various
Yeah, they have
colleges.
so many opportunities to get college credits.
Yeah, it's like a couple $100.
Do we have a number of kids that participate in this?
I could find out.
I'm just curious, because we've expanded it tremendously. I'm just curious how many.
Any other questions on 7? Administrative resolutions?
Thanks, Dr. Chaky. Administrative resolutions business. Item 8.1, approve the acceptance of district donations for the 24-25 school year. Item 8.1, anonymous donor, $200 for the 4th grade choral program. The funds will help pay for students' t-shirts for the concert at all 4 elementary buildings. Item 8.2, an anonymous donor donated a flute for the music department. The flute will be used by the high school music department. Item 8.2, approve the advertising for energy conservation. Item 8.3, approve the proposal from Shaw Turf to replace the batter's box and pitching areas at the high school in the amount of $11,937. Item 8.4, approve the acceptance of the district's June 30th, 2024 audited financial statements, including supplemental information and the schedule of real estate tax collection as prepared by the district local auditors for the 23-24 fiscal year, and authorize the release of applicable statements and reports as required to the federal, state, and other various oversight agencies prior to March 31st, 2024 reporting deadline. Item 8.5, approve the 5-year charter for the Spectrum Charter School Incorporated.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes. 8.3. Is this gonna be every year? You know, one of the reasons we put in this turf was to reduce the annual maintenance to the field. So $12,000 for these 2 spots, and weren't we doing some kind of review of?
Yes,
It's a matter of fact.
I believe, John, are you on?
John?
Yes, I am on. We had a meeting with with people from AC Sports, and we're also working with Shaw, the company, to put in the turf itself. The reason for the high cost of this bill right now is because of we have to actually buy turf. They said that they left turf here. We're not able to find it anywhere. So I've looked, the gentleman from Shaw, we went through the sheds. We weren't able to find the turf we need. So most of that cost is ordering new turf, and this does include the baseball and softball field.
John, the next time we have a meeting, and we've changed the committee slightly, the Buildings and Grounds, is not until the end of April. And I know you guys have been working on what we're going to do, because part of the problem, if I understand this correctly, is the overuse of our fields plays into some of this, and hence why we keep having to pay to fix this stuff. So in order for our kids to be able to use it effectively, you're looking at what are we going to do about outside entities coming in to use our fields, because that's part of our problem. Am I understanding our previous conversation? And you're looking at changing some of the fees for the use of our fields starting July 1st? Is that right?
That is something we're investigating, and actually Don Hall came up with a really good idea of what we should move forward with. But we're still in the preliminaries on this. So as we advance, then we will have board members, I'm sorry, as part of these meetings, as we move on to totally redo policy 707.
I was just wondering, I'm sorry, John.
So in the meantime, can we expect with the same amount of traffic on the field, this $12,000 next year, first of all? And secondly, surely by now we know exactly how much revenue was generated by these outside entities for the last summer, right?
It is possible.
I'd say we brought in last school year close to $80,000. Atlantic Coast Baseball was like 40-some thousand, and all the other outside entities, about 80,000.
Okay. So do you expect that, since we're not going to find this turf between now and next year again, so do you expect another 12,000 next year?
It depends on the where and the amount of games that they play here. We were talking to Don, and Don, if you're on, I can't remember the exact numbers. But the amount of games you play versus them. I'm sorry, Don.
Yeah, that's okay. If I jump in, this is the second year of those fields. So we didn't replace them last year or have to make any repairs last year. So to your question, Mr. Bovic, it could potentially be 2 years down the road if we went the same where as we had. We have some thoughts on, again, passing some of that cost on by percentage of games used if there are outside entities, making them responsible for it. Also putting some other caveats in as far as the preventive maintenance per game, post game, that, may prolong that a bit as well. Plus have a Shaw sort of inspector come in monthly to check it. So we think we're going to slow it down some. We also think we're going to pass the cost potentially on. That's part of that idea. That's sort of in the, planning stages to outside entities. Last year, the group that used it the most, AC Baseball, used it between baseball and softball for about 213 games. About 130 and 80 was roughly the breakdown. Other games, including Monroeville Junior Legion, other local, a 14U team, an alumni team, also certainly our own Gateway varsity JV, middle school baseball when they were still at our place, middle school softball, high school softball, that sort of thing. All those games came out to about 100 games from other groups. So really a little over 2/3 of the games played on our fields were played by that one particular organization that wasn't community-based and is a for-profit organization. So we've talked about potentially passing on and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, again, with some we've been kicked around, but an idea that we pass along, roughly the percentage of the games they play, they handle the percentage of the repair cost. So in this case, $12,000 would look something like about $8,000, dollars from those people toward the costs if we continued at the rate we're on. And again, we did bring in the, actual, just for the games on the fields, about $48,000 over the 2 years. The other costs for custodians and other things, site managers, ended up being, closer to what Mike's number was.
But
If
don't
that
we
all
have
makes
some,
sense.
don't we have issues with some other damages that occurred?
We had a pitcher's mound.
Not, yeah, not, yeah, the pitcher's mound needs repair. It's a separate entity. It's a piece that can be flipped and rotated, and it's a one of 8 pieces, and it's about a $500 repair that we think we've already got covered by the folks that use it the most.
Okay, so you're taking that all into consideration. Maybe they should do a
Yes.
deposit, like when you get an Airbnb.
Well, you know what, I think, you know what, actually, did you hear what was just said, John, about the deposit? Actually, that's come up.
Yeah, if you
They
mess up
came
my
up.
house, you don't get
Yeah,
your deposit back.
Because I think what else, John, am I wrong on this? You said part of the problem is, say for example, Shaw Turf. And if they give you, do they give you a warranty or something on it? But because we overuse it beyond the scope of the warranty, then we don't benefit from that because we play on it too much. Did I misunderstand that?
We are getting some of the labor that they charged through Shaw. This bill started out at about $16,000, and Mike Zarellas had a big part of helping us negotiate this down to the amount that it's at now. So we are hoping that with the ideas that we're getting from Shaw and some new, Don, I can't think of what they brought out to help keep the turf lasting longer. There's some new rubber or new infill to put in the turf.
Yep.
They were talking about.
Right.
We're still investigating. We're still in the infancy with this, and this is all going to be part of 707. And we can require deposits, but it's hard to get a deposit. They don't know how many games they're playing till 5 days before. So, but AC Sports, even though they overuse the fields, in my opinion,
Right?
they've been very, very, very good with paying their bills. There's no hiccups.
Money.
When we send it to them, they send us a check.
Yeah, I don't think it's about them paying their bills. I mean, they're a for-profit business. They have money. They can put a deposit down and
Well, and they were open to helping fix these, we all met with them, so they were like, okay, we see where you're coming from. So they're not just.
yeah, I'm not trying to give anyone a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the taxpayers are going to have to pay for any damages that occur. And if there's a way that we could, reduce the probability of that happening, I'm just saying.
I think the percentage, what Dawn and, they're talking about in these meetings will really help. So they will see the numbers of what's happening. And the group that we've been talking about has been very positive on taking care of costs.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not saying that they're not. I don't want anyone to think that. I'm just trying to make sure that at the end of the day, we've had discussions in the past where there's been damage. And we don't want to forget about our past.
Correct.
We've had these discussions and we're trying to eliminate that from happening. And we're trying to reduce the cost because we did get new fields. They're
Right.
beautiful. Everybody wants to play on them. But we realize there's wear and tear. But when other things happen that aren't normal wear and tear, they need to be addressed.
And those previous damages, so we brought them in and we talked about that, and then they added an additional, I don't know if they call it a site manager, but then once those were brought to their attention, they did add, that company added another person.
Yeah, we just got to protect ourselves.
No, but I'm just saying, so they've been every time we have brought something, or Dawn or John has brought something to them, so they said, okay, we're gonna add another person
I
here.
understand, but when you have an Airbnb, you're not going to accept me saying that. Well, I'm good. I got you.
No, I just yeah, I agree with you on that. I was just letting you know that they were,
your home.
yeah, but they were very, as soon as they knew,
Yeah,
they were very open to adding more of their people.
I just want us to protect ourselves. That's all.
Absolutely.
I agree with you, Robin, completely. Gentlemen, do you have a clue when, something about July 1st, we're gonna start? Is it before July 1st? And when, going on the website to AC Sports, they were talking about some spring tournaments, which by the way, they do know how many games they're playing, because if you go to their website, you're gonna see what they're telling the public. So they should be able to do like Robin was saying, put a deposit down, because they do know pretty much, based on their website, how many games. Do we know exactly when we would have this finalized? Is it still July 1st, or are they going to be using our fields in the interim in the spring for any tournament?
They usually start using the fields towards the middle of May if they're available. But with our own teams, usually they're not available till after the playoffs. So they
Okay,
usually get in, they're usually the first week in June. So there will be some time that they'll still be under the old 707 policy. But the time that it's going to take to get this all written up and to get it to the board for 2 consecutive months, it's going to be June or July.
okay.
We approve their use on a yearly basis. I remember it was a discussion, is, okay, we do. And we haven't approved it yet for the summer, right? We haven't, is it?
I have a question about this energy conservation. Is that, we're just advertising for more bids like the one that we got, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
One other thing, weren't we supposed to, I'm sorry, did I realize something? Weren't we supposed to get the data, we were doing analysis of all the statistics about the communities of Pitcairn and Monroeville. Was that a February thing, do you remember that?
Talk, Ross, you on?
Yep, that'll be March.
Oh,
They're
it's now
coming the March meeting.
Oh, that's right.
March, and,
But the finance meeting, right, not the regular. board
Correct.
meeting.
Yes, correct. I think
okay,
it's March 20th.
Yes.
Yes.
okay, so that's where you're gonna present it instead of at the regular board meeting, okay.
Anybody have any other questions on administrative resolutions and business?
Did he answer your question, 8.2, about the, we're just advertising for,
For more of those.
okay,
Yeah, we're just, yeah.
There's a lot of options out there, so
okay, all right, to reduce our
to reduce our
expenses.
costs, yeah.
Middle school, I thought the expenses were gonna, I looked at the financial report, I was like, wow.
Well, utilities overall probably than last year went up a good 20%. And,
We don't have any,
I mean, just for everybody. So, well, I'm sure you know that at all, so.
anybody else on 8? We don't have any board member resolutions. Do we have any comments from residents on non-agenda items? Administrative reports?
All right, we do have a few items for the administrative report. Is this control?
Thank you, or Mike, or Mike, you could just change it.
I can click.
Okay. Next slide, please, Micah. Congratulations to Piper Munyon, first place Phipps Fairchild Challenge number 2, Fine Arts and Writing. So we're so proud of our Gateway students. I mean, there's so many different opportunities that they go to, and not only do they participate, but they excel in a lot of these different areas. So congratulations to Piper. These 4 students, Juliet Deschelch, Jackie Liu, Darren Johnson, and Blaine Langston, they were the ESSPA Geography Bowl first place champions. So congratulations to them.
Where's that held in?
I'm not sure where it's held, but the ESSPA is the Eastern Suburban.
See, that's funny, it's geography, but we don't know where it is. I don't know there. They didn't know where it was.
Yeah, they would. But that's the Eastern Suburbs Special Programs Association.
Okay.
So congratulations to them.
Move on as quick as possible.
And also the CalcuSolve 2025 first place team, Josh Beal, Daniel Bandos, Isaac Shaw, Ethan Lindblad, and Quentin Key.
I think they were a repeat too, if I remember from Dr. Pottinger's email.
Yeah.
We repeated as first place 2 years in a row. It's pretty cool.
And do they solve, I'm going to assume, calculus problems? Is it
I
like
think it was more general math problems. I don't think they're full calculus. So calculus has been around, like, I'll date myself, when I went to school, long time ago. But yeah, it's more like a math competition.
so like they're like verbally asked questions and have to,
No, I think they're written questions,
oh,
but
that's crazy.
But congratulations to them as well. And National School Counseling Week, February 3rd to February 7th. We just want to take a moment and really thank our counselors district-wide, and they're listed there. I mean, they do a phenomenal job. I know a lot of you were able to come to some of the counselor advisory committee meetings and some of the different groups within the schools, and they just do an excellent job with students on a day-to-day basis. So we really thank them for their dedication and hard work to our district. And lastly, kindergarten registration is open. Information is on the district website.
There were some of them today. They were doing
Down
the
here are
early
some of the
intervention to
preparations.
kindergarten registrations. Yeah. All right.
That's all we
Is
have.
that all you have? Do we have any board committee, do athletics have anything, Val?
No, we covered it as we were speaking.
Donna, finance?
yeah. So there was originally a scheduled finance meeting in February, which we didn't have because, like I said, they didn't have the full budget information. So we didn't have the February meeting, but we are having a meeting on March 20th. So besides the demographic statistics, everything else, we'll also be covering the initial budget reports.
Will that be here or will that be back in the LGI like we did?
Oh, wait, here, I think April we do it all together.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, okay. Buildings and grounds, I think we covered some of that.
Yeah, but we're fine. I do have a question, though. You know the thing we got about the end of March, there's something going on that we can go and meet with legislators, and we were going to have to submit questions in advance. Do you remember us all getting that information?
Yeah.
Okay, when would we have our questions, and how are we going to handle this? I mean, you can do it through Zoom, and any one of us, I guess, can participate, right? How does this work?
Yeah, I think that would be, I think John handled that for us last year. We'd probably go with his guidance on
Okay,
how, I do believe we submitted actually the questions to John.
I think John actually went.
Or,
so
yeah.
you can go, or you can do it Zoom, whichever.
Yeah.
So we just have to start thinking about our questions and hand them to John, because wonder how far. John, are you there? Ritter, not John Walsh, I'm sorry. John Ritter? No, I'm just curious how far in advance they need those questions.
Okay, we'll remember to ask
Yeah,
Mr. Ritter
can you
that.
find out, just and let us know?
Yeah, and then I did give everybody, I'm speaking of this because it's next down, did give everybody, the board committees, let me know if everyone's okay with that. And then we did a description of the board committees. So something new was the subcommittee for curriculum to go with the education and equity. The purpose of the subcommittee for the education was because we currently have the new cyber coming through, the cyber courses. There's a science course back there. So basically it's to meet with Dr. Chakey to find out why we're changing the courses or why we're adding them, or updates like he gave us with the different graduate things, and then they can bring that back to the education and equity bigger. We didn't really have a handle on why we were changing things like that, so bring back to the bigger. Do you have anything on your equity and education committee?
Yeah, I want to go last.
Okay, oh, absolutely. Health and safety?
No, we had to cancel our meeting in February, so Dr. Chapin will put something together in March.
Okay. We talked about the advocacy policy. There's some things that are coming up that are being changed. Nothing in personnel. We handled Kevin, and that's it. And we will go back to Forbes.
No, because of the death in the family, I missed the Forbes meeting on January, so it's going.
I will say that Forbes did do a presentation. I attended the meeting. They did do a presentation. They are looking for the districts to be part of they got a bid or for construction at Forbes. One of the major issues was HVAC, and the other is electrical that I think were absolutely on the top of their list. Then they had a few other items. I don't recall the exact numbers, around $18 million. So they would be looking for the schools, the resident schools, to participate in that, and that's where the money would come from. And I did recognize that you weren't there, and I probably should have told you that before the meeting, but.
They talked about, there's an electric panel, master panel, that in and of itself, millions of dollars that they've just been working around, and sooner or later you simply have to replace it.
Yeah, they actually showed pictures of it at the meeting, and there are like sticky notes, do not use. It looks pretty bad. So without a doubt, they asked everybody to go back to their resident schools and explain where they are. I have that information. I can get it to you guys. I just have to find it.
Hey, Leslie, I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this, Cheryl, or John, or Mike. As we get closer to the US Open, I know we had agreed to allow them to use our parking lot. When will we know that they'll need that? And I know they're paying to use that lot. When are you guys going to know if they're going to be using that lot?
John Walsh, do you know when for the US Open they're going to need to use our lots?
They will be using it the whole week, and I believe that week is the 19th, 15th, or whatever the week of the Open is. They are going to use our lot. The board did sign the contract last year, and we will receive payment either right before or right after the US Open.
Yeah, the dates are June 9th to the 15th.
Okay, so they're definitely, I know that we had agreed, we voted on it, but I didn't know if they were definitely going to be, okay.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be here, and we did black out all sporting events and all events for that week, and we're going to try and utilize that week to do a lot of the maintenance that we can't do when the kids are here.
Okay.
Well, that works. Anything on Sunrise? No.
Does John Ritter have anything?
John, do you have anything for board committees?
I do not.
Two things. One, Dr. Chakey, Dr. Three, we had decided, and I don't have it in front of me, it's on my calendar at home, that there will be a meeting in March as far as curriculum equity, and that, I believe, is Wednesday, March 12th. But I'll verify that later. And also, I will probably not get into all the details now, but Dr. Three and myself, we attended in Washington, D.C., the Advocacy and Equity Summit Conference, and even had a chance to go on Capitol Hill, but I'll go more in detail with that during the March equity meeting. And then what I passed around was, a lot of people will always talk about, lift every voice and sing, and many don't know the true story behind it, don't know that the Johnson brothers actually being a superintendent down in the Florida schools. I mean, we're talking back in the 1900s, early, exactly 1900. He and his brother, accomplished musician, and coming from a pretty good family in terms of the father was a minister, the mother was an educator, a school teacher too. And at one point when I'm not sure he was a doctor, James Weldon Johnson, when he was actually a principal and then a superintendent down in Florida, he had a program coming up which had already been established for Black History Week, which later became Black History Month, which today is considered history and we don't designate, we just say history. So when he had a program coming up, he decided he would write It was, in fact, during the time of Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and so he wanted to do something to acknowledge that, and he wrote the poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, which epitomizes not only the challenges and the struggles, but the hope and all moving forward, and he wanted to see people united moving forward. And after he collaborated with his brother, who was a musician, he put the actual music to the lyrics, and it started from a poem and ended up being actual song. The NAACP had adopted it as a national anthem and so forth, so forth. That's where it has come from. Some of this, that's why I passed out the sheet, just so you'd have a little bit of information, because many often have said to me, how did it get started? And so what I have, I will let you hear someone sing that song. In fact, she's my niece. She's not here, but she is singing it. Are we there, Michael? Can we? And I just wanted to bring up that segment where she's singing. She actually was singing it in church, though. So hopefully we can hear it. We had technical problems before when I did this.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven remove the harmonies away. There are rejoicing Christ, like as the living stars, heavenly sound, loud as the rolling sea. Sing the song of the things that the darkness taught us. Sing the song of the hope that the past brought. They sing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over the way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloom we pass, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright stars cast. God of our weariness, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we may be. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Very nice. How old is she?
She just started college. College, so.
Very nice.
See your
Performing
face.
arts.
Oh. That's it. Are you done?
I just want to make one comment. We have a flu or something going around our district, I want to say all districts around the country. Parents, if your kids are sick, keep them home. It's a little contagious, and I see the numbers. I think everybody can vouch for it. Their kids are dropping like flies, and just a couple days, just get them better. That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
All in
Be
favor?
better, Dr. Rossi.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.